The BART Office of the Inspector General brings to you information regarding our obstructed investigation and why Senate Bill 1488 was necessary to avoid such obstruction in the future. We released our report, Union Obstruction Prevented Investigation, on September 2, 2022. Our report discussed the events that took place preventing us from completing an investigation. Our intent was to investigate an allegation that BART may not have adequate safety protocols in place for graffiti removal from vandalized train cars. However, Service Employees International Union Local 1021 prevented us from conducting our investigation by instructing its members to notify the union when we wished to speak to them so that the union could coordinate the meeting. No employees were subjects of our investigation. And at no time did we accuse any employee of wrongdoing. Because we were prevented from conducting our investigation, our concerns regarding compliance with health and safety laws for adequate protective equipment remain, as do our environmental concerns about chemical runoff from the paints used for the graffiti and training requirements to do the work. Our investigative efforts were blocked by a series of events. We first requested to observe the utility workers as they removed the graffiti from the train cars. Observations are a common practice for understanding the procedures and equipment used in a process. We made several requests over a 6-month period and were prepared to travel to wherever the cleaning was taking place on any given day. Based on our review of timekeeping data, we identified 15 instances of utility workers recording time for graffiti removal. We did not receive notice of any of those instances, despite our requests. Eventually, we learned from another source that the utility workers planned to clean a graffitied train on July 17, 2022. We visited the cleaning site that day, but the utility crew canceled the cleaning prior to our arrival and did not notify us of the rescheduled date. We again checked timekeeping data and learned that a graffiti removal took place the following day, yet we did not receive notification prior to it taking place. Our investigator was available to observe the cleaning, had they been informed. We then attempted to discuss the process with utility workers. We reached out to 3 workers, requesting to meet with them about the equipment they use and the training they receive to properly and safely remove graffiti from train cars. We tried emailing, phoning, and texting the workers in hopes of reaching someone. Because utility workers don't have designated BART phone numbers, we then tried their personal phone numbers on file with the district. We did that only after making several attempts to contact them via BART communications and receiving no response. SEIU then accused us of harassing its members. This is unfounded, dismissive of the facts, and a harmful depiction of what actually took place. As we had said in our messages, the purpose of our meeting request was to understand whether BART has provided appropriate equipment and training to BART employees responsible for removing graffiti from train cars. We did not threaten any SEIU members or make any statements or demands regarding discipline or wrongdoing. We simply requested a meeting. Because we were unable to reach anyone by phone or email, we visited the Richmond station to interview a utility worker during their regular duty hours. The utility 4 worker intercepted our investigator and did not allow our investigator access to any utility workers. The utility 4 worker asked our investigator to wait while they made a phone call. When the 4 worker returned from making the call out of the listening range of our investigator, the 4 worker told our investigator that the SEIU president said that interviews need to be scheduled through the union president. Making this demand violates the confidentiality of our investigations and violates employee rights. It removes our ability to manage the course of the investigation and damages its integrity. Maintaining confidentiality is crucial to ensuring we can collect evidence without concerns that it has been altered. And it prevents the leaking of critical information to others who could use that information to sway the course of the investigation. The demand to have all interviews go through the union also deprives an employee of their right to decide if they want representation. Often, employees prefer to keep their involvement in investigations confidential because they fear retaliation or simply do not want others to know. We must be able to afford employees some assurance that speaking with us is guarded. Such assurances are necessary to ensure we do not violate California's law regarding whistleblower protections. The law is meant to encourage employees to come forward with information about wrongdoing and feel secure in doing so. An employee cannot feel such freedom if they know others will be notified of their involvement without their consent. They are made most secure when they have stronger assurances of anonymity. Employees frequently tell us that they fear retaliation if they speak up. That is why, more often than not, complaints come to us anonymously. The union's interference in our investigation amplifies that fear as it essentially removes employees' whistleblower protections because it would mandate that the unions know everyone we want to speak with, even if an employee would prefer that no one know. The obstruction we experienced is precisely why Senate Bill 1488 was necessary. It clarifies the standard authority and access rights afforded to any OIG and puts that into law so that we too can function in the manner required of us. SB 1488 protects our independence by ensuring that management and unions do not influence the trajectory of our investigations. The bill also protects our credibility. It gives us the ability to function as an independent office by preventing limitations on and interference with our work. The bill also ensures that employees' rights are protected, both their right to make decisions regarding their representation and to have their identity kept anonymous to the extent possible, as afforded by the whistleblower protections established in California law. SB 1488 gives us the tools we need to overcome attempts at obstruction. This includes subpoena power. We'd like to be clear that we do not want to resort to using subpoena power to interview employees. Our preference is to work in cooperation with employees, particularly witnesses or those who can provide background information regarding processes and procedures. We do not believe it is in anyone's best interest to have to use a subpoena for a simple interview to understand BART practices, which is the position SEIU will be putting its employees in by demanding we coordinate interviews with them. Our ability to meet with employees without notifying unions in no way violates Weingarten rights. We have always protected those rights and have gone beyond the legal requirements of that law to ensure the rights are protected. Weingarten allows a represented employee to have a union representative present during an investigatory interview when the employee is the subject of the investigation and has a reasonable belief that the interview may lead to discipline or other adverse consequences. The law is clear that it is the employee's responsibility to make that request. An extreme misconception among some at BART has been that we have not honored Weingarten, or that BART had to take action to ensure we honor the law. This is wrong. We have voluntarily notified employees of their right whenever we met with a represented employee who is a subject of an investigation, which means we are investigating an allegation that they participated in wrongdoing. We took it upon ourselves to have meetings with BART's legal counsel about employee rights and chose to make the notification to ensure employees reach out to their union if they want representation. What's particularly troubling about the obstructed investigation is that no one was a subject of the investigation. Not one employee was accused of wrongdoing. We launched the investigation because of concerns about employee and environmental safety. Our emphasis was entirely on ensuring that the employees who perform graffiti mitigation received proper training and personal protective equipment to complete the work. We also wanted to ensure that BART's procedures addressed environmental concerns, such as preventing paint from entering storm drains. Because SEIU willfully obstructed our investigation, those concerns remain. Thank you for watching. I hope you found our report valuable. My team and I are headed home now, using BART, of course. Take care.